All right, let's talk about a final for the ages. We're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable championship games you'll ever see, the 2025 MLS Cup final. This was more than just a game. It was a story about big dreams, unbelievable resilience, and a match that literally came down to the wire. So how did Inter Miami manage to pull it off against an incredible Vancouver Whitecaps team? Well, let's get into it. During the broadcast, they called it a game of the finest margins. And honestly, no freeze could be more perfect. This wasn't a story of one team just crushing the other for 90 minutes. Nope. This entire final was decided by inches, by split-second choices, and by moments of just pure, mind-blowing luck. Or maybe heartbreak, depending on which team you were cheering for. Okay, so let's set the scene here. We've got two conference champions, both taking a completely different path to get here, about to face off for the biggest prize in Major League Soccer. And what a matchup this was. It's like something straight out of a movie script, right? In one corner, you've got Inter Miami, this offensive juggernaut that scored a wild 98 goals during the season. And they've got home field advantage. But in the other corner, you had the Vancouver Whitecaps. Now, you might call them underdogs, but get this. They had already beaten Miami twice this year. They knew they could do it. This was the powerhouse versus the team that knew their weakness. So the game kicks off, and Miami wasted zero time showing everyone why they were the favorites. They came out of the gate just flying, with an attacking energy that immediately had Vancouver scrambling. And it didn't take long at all. Just 8 minutes in, boom, Miami finds the back of the net. They struck first, sending a massive message that they were planning to run this show from the very beginning. So let's break down how they scored, because this was no simple tap-in. This is Miami's entire game plan in a nutshell. Create absolute chaos. You can see Avila is making this brilliant run that forces the defender into a horrible position. He's just a fraction of a second too late, which keeps the play onside. Then, this dangerous ball gets whipped across the goal, and it forces a panicked reaction. It ends up being an own goal, but make no mistake, Miami's system created it. But here's the thing. If you thought Vancouver was just going to pack it in and fold after going down early, well, you really don't know this team. Their character was about to be on full display. And this quote really gets to the heart of their confidence. They had Thomas Mueller. I mean, think about it. This is a guy who has won 35 trophies, more than anyone else in German soccer history. When a winner like that is in your locker room, that belief just becomes contagious. The whole team genuinely felt like this was their destiny, and one little goal wasn't going to scare them off. And what do you know? That belief totally paid off. The Whitecaps didn't panic, they took the punch and then started landing some of their own. You could almost feel a goal coming, and sure enough, Ali Ahmed puts it away. It was totally deserved, and just like that, it's 1-1. We've got a real final on our hands. Okay, so what happens next? This is the moment that people will be replaying and talking about for years to come. This is where that whole game of the finest margins idea becomes unbelievably, painfully real. After they tied it up, Vancouver wasn't just sitting back. Not a chance. They sensed that Miami was rattled, and they went for the kill. It was like they could smell blood in the water, and they were pushing to win the whole thing right then and there. And then, this happened. It's almost impossible to even describe the pandemonium. In a wild 7-second scramble in front of the goal, the ball hits one post, ricochets all the way across, hits the other post, and somehow, it stays out. It's just incredible. I mean, seriously, look at this. You have to ask the question, how on earth is it still 1-1? Vancouver was millimeters, maybe a coat of paint, away from taking the lead. That was their championship moment, hanging right there, only to be snatched away by the most ridiculous, cruelest bit of bad luck. And you know how this sport works. It can be so brutal. When you don't take your chances, the game has a way of punishing you. The story was about to swing from Vancouver's heartbreaking near miss to a moment of pure Miami magic. And this is just the reality of a championship game. After all that incredible work to get back into it, after coming that close to taking the lead, all it takes is one tiny mistake. Vancouver gets the ball, and then, for just a split second, a moment of carelessness, they lose the ball in the worst possible part of the field. And who does it fall to? Of course, the one player on the entire planet you simply cannot give the ball to in that situation. In a flash, the most dangerous player in the world has the ball, and he has room to run. What happens next is just world-class brilliance. It's pure poetry. Against the flow of the game, two World Cup winners connect.
Messi draws the defenders towards him, then slides a perfect pass to his longtime Argentina teammate, Rodrigo de Paul, who makes absolutely no mistake. It was clinical, it was ruthless, and it was a devastating goal. And that was it. That single moment of brilliance, born out of one tiny mistake, was the difference. The final whistle blew, and even though Vancouver put up an incredible fight, Inter Miami were the ones lifting the trophy. For Inter Miami, this was everything. This was the whole point of their ambitious project. All the star power, all the investment, all the hype. It was all building to this very moment. They had done it. They were champion. So it leaves you with the big question, doesn't it? In a game that's decided by inches, what actually separates the winner from the runner-up? Was it just bad luck? Was it the ice-cold nerve to finish that one golden chance? Or was it just having a player like Lionel Messi on your team? In a game of the finest margins, that tiny little difference is what we'll be debating for a long, long time.